She doesn't even go here!
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And today, this is basically a funeral episode. Discussing the live-action remake of Moana.
Who's dead? Is it Disney?
It might be the legacy of live-action for Disney.
I don't know. I feel like after Lilo and Stitch did so well, despite everyone hating that one, I think they're just going to keep on making them.
We shall see.
Until they stop making money. Because, I mean, yeah, like, obviously everyone wants good reception, but it's not like they're making it to get an Oscar or anything like that. They're making it because they make money, and usually they do.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll circle back to that. But we have just watched this thing. We're recording this, maybe like an hour and a half after the fact?
Yeah.
After getting out?
An hour and a half-ish.
So these are some pretty fresh thoughts.
Yeah.
We've attempted to digest this as much as possible, if possible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so how are the vibes?
Well, with that, I feel like they're pretty low. No, I feel like actually, just like me personally, I'm doing pretty good. But I actually do think, even though obviously there is things to talk about and not all of it is positive for sure, this will be an interesting conversation. And we've kind of had it before, but we have some new stuff we're bringing to the table. I mean, we've talked about Lilo and Stitch last year, but I think we have some new topics to discuss regarding the remakes. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Fair.
Yeah. What about you?
I enjoy when we talk about something that has like a very varied selection to pull from.
Yeah.
Which Disney live actions are certainly that at this point.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be an interesting conversation. But, Cole adamantly did not want to see this one with us.
I don't blame
him. He goes to see a lot of things with us. And, to be him.
Yeah. No, I'm jealous. I'm like, if we didn't feel like we needed to make a video on this, like, I wouldn't have watched either. I really didn't want to. I will say I didn't come out of it regretting it as much as I regretted Lilo and Stitch. But there were more things at the table for that feeling in Lilo and Stitch. The theater experience was much better this time around. I think it helped that
no one was there.
No one was there, pretty much. There was maybe like 3 or 4 groups there, and they were pretty small groups. So, I mean, it's early on a Sunday when we watched it, so like a lot of families tend to go to church at that time, so maybe they weren't there. I don't know. I actually have not seen the box office, so I'm interested to see if that reflects the numbers of today or if this was just like it's early on a Sunday. I don't know. Thumbs up.
Guess we'll find out. But I guess we'll throw this in for the sake of doing it. Spoiler warning. We're going to be talking through the spoilers of this movie through the end, which also means we're spoiling everything that happens in the original Moana.
Yeah.
And
which you've had a lot of time to see, but just in case you haven't, go watch the original animated one.
Do yourself that favor.
Yeah.
Potential for Moana 2. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
So Moana. First off, Moana live action remake is announced.
I think a lot of people's thoughts were like, what are we doing? I mean, it's kind of been like that the past few live action remakes. But at least like the Lilo and Stitch one, people were complaining about how Stitch looked. But they did I remember the reception being really good. I think he showed up at the Super Bowl a couple times, and people really liked that advertising. And then the movie came out, and I won't spoil anything there because we're not talking about it. But people didn't like the ending. Certain things with her and her sister. I didn't like it either. But yeah, reception definitely changed with that. I feel like this one, people didn't care for it. They were like, it's barely 10 years old. I don't even know if it is technically 10 because I don't know when
It was
in
2016.
Well, yes, but I don't know when in 2016
It was
they
sometime
came
during
out.
the summer, so it's
So
certainly
maybe.
close.
Maybe. Basically 10 years apart. They're like, what are we doing?
What's going on?
This kind of means I feel like an inevitable Frozen movie is on the way. I'm actually surprised there hasn't been any whispers about that because if you're doing Moana, Frozen's older than that, and Frozen has made a lot of money for them. So we'll see. They also have Frozen 3 coming out sometime in the next few years. But I'm sure we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Tangled as well is kind of also one of the newer movies, post 2000 that has been announced and confirmed and is currently filming. But we'll get there. I think everyone was already not excited about it, and then everyone, I remember everyone being like, okay, well, the two people playing Moana and Maui are like perfect for those roles, except then it was announced that the actress for Moana wasn't coming back, but Maui was, which is The Rock. And then I feel like people switched up on it where they actually hated that it was going to be him and said he looked nothing like Maui. Now, obviously, Maui's design is like, nobody's going to look like,
Yeah.
nobody's got to have a head that shape, okay? And people were like, at least he'll sound the same, whatever. People had mixed feelings, saying, what is better, trying something new or going with something where like the voice at least worked really well. And then we saw behind the scene pictures of his wig and like the little like shirt suit thing, whatever he was wearing. The first poster comes out with him. Everyone's like, he doesn't have nipples and it looks weird, which I guess he didn't in the original either.
But he's an animated person.
But like he's an animated person, so it's again, you can get away with so much more in animation because it's a completely different craft than live action. And it's kind of like people talking about the live action Avatar show, which we also just did an episode on, where they're like, yeah, that looks fine, but like the animated has so much more movement, so much more color. People are like, but that costs money then don't do it. Then don't do it. If you can't do something just as good or your own version that also does its own thing, is original, but is still really good, then maybe don't do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to. No one's like begging you no one has begged anyone for a live action remake.
And I think there's a real art in if you are adapting something or trying to do something that there's like this big ambition behind it, subverting excitement, I think. Like if you're not able to do all of these big action scenes for whatever reason, you still have to find something equal that has people equally as interested to watch as that if it was what they were expecting.
Yeah.
Which I think is ultimately the big problem. If live action adaptations are not able to achieve something, there's kind of a defense that, well, what were they supposed to do? And it's like,
Not exist.
look for something else to do if
Yeah.
they're not doing that. You can't just be boring and be like, we tried.
Yeah. People talk about the Cinderella live action remakes, which is generally considered one of the best ones, because it's still an ode to the original, but it's not a copy paste of the original. And obviously there are fans of Cinderella out there, of the movie, but there are a lot of people that I think wouldn't care for a copy paste. It's not like a perfect movie where everyone's like, this is sacred, you can't change anything. And so I think they had a perfect moment to still make something fun and familiar but still original. I also think of what was the other movie? No, it's not The Jungle Book. I mean, The Jungle Book is also a really good remake, but that was like more of a copy paste. Just like really well done.
Dude, I went through all of the Disney animated movies not that long ago.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, everyone's misremembering the original Jungle Book. That is, just like Cinderella, an extended Tom and Jerry cartoon. That is not a story.
I will say the only thing that doesn't hold a candle to the original is the bare necessities. It's still fine, but it's kind of like Will Smith's Genie. Like, he's fine, but he's not Robin Williams, and he will never be. But yeah, everything else about that remake is really well done. And kind of like crazy that then they the same person went on to do The Lion King and somehow forgot how to make animals look good in live action. Anyways. Yeah, so this one people were not really excited for. I think they had maybe mixed reactions, some sort of hope in the beginning, and I feel like a lot of people lost that.
For me, like, by the time the trailer hit, that first trailer, where it was just everything from the original, but worse.
Yeah, I think people were rightfully pointing out this is just lacking color. People had a similar comment with in The Little Mermaid, the Under the Sea sequence, which I completely agree with, and I actually really like that remake. But Under the Sea again is like so dead compared to the original, which is just so fun. There's so much movement, there's so much color, so much going on. It's almost overwhelming. And in the live action, there's like they have Ariel be a part of the song because there's nothing happening. And she's great. She elevates that song. She's carrying that on her back. But, yeah. So it's just yeah. Like, these were my thoughts when I kind of want to shout out maybe the different reactions people had to How to Train Your Dragon.
Surely.
Because I was actually surprised. I thought we were on the same page of like, oh, great. Now, Universal's trying this. And again, it's like exactly copy paste of the original, but just more dead looking. But I feel like a lot of people had a very positive reactions to that. And I don't really understand why. I mean, we have a video on that too, so I'm sure we've talked about it. It's like, sure, the casting is great. But like, this is objectively nowhere near as pretty as the original. The songs are just as great, but that's really easy to replicate. And so everything that's great is just ripped from the original. And I feel similarly with Moana. Like, everything that makes this movie great is straight from the original. And there are certain things and cast members that are not as good as the original. Any come to mind?
You know what? I'll do you one better. I don't think there's a single part of this movie that is quality-wise comparable to the animated original.
Dang.
I think there's maybe, even when it comes to the CGI, like, the designs, I think were all brought down in really bad ways. I think the songs were not sung as great as the original. Even going around casting, there's not a single line delivery that I think was on par. It's just really weird that I really don't think that this movie had any, like, leg to stand on, which I think is even rare among Disney's live action repertoire. Like, even The Lion King, which I think is a bad movie and certainly a horrible adaptation, the animation is gorgeous. And you can't say that here.
Maybe the cinematography. I don't know.
Like, everything in that thing is fake. And if you showed me a screenshot of those landscapes, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's real. And that was done by hand. And that's insane.
Yeah.
And I don't feel really an inch of that here. And the things that they do kind of change and adjust outside of it being a 1-for-1 animation, and it is fairly small stuff. It sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I think of one small part when Moana is first, like, drumming when she's finding all the boats. And then they have the hey hey gag where he's the one responding. They don't even have that. And it's like, why take that away? It's a small thing, but it's like, again, it's so small. Why would you not have it? Seems very silly. And then another conversation that people have brought up quite often is her hair. Because the actress has very curly hair, like similar color, very, very curly hair, kind of like the dad's hair, but more, I would say, definition.
Sure.
And then obviously she's wearing a wig here. I think it's actually unfortunately pretty obvious in the movie. I thought that several times of like they couldn't have gotten a better wig. And what's funny about that is, like I've brought up several times on this podcast, I used to work at Disney. And so sorry, hold your ears, I guess, because this is blasphemy. I'm not supposed to say this, but I don't work for the company anymore. Her wigs were also always really bad. Like, really bad.
Like Moana in the parks?
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, why can't we nail Moana? It's much easier when they have bangs, because it can, like, cover that little hairline.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no, hers were always particularly bad, and I don't really know why.
Interesting.
Yeah,
We need wig scientists in here.
it's just, I'm sure it has something to do with there's really nothing covering that hairline. I'm just like, okay, but now you're live action, and you can have a much higher budget, and you have CGI. Like, you can't, like, do anything to fix that.
Considering this is a $250 million movie, it feels insane that Disney of all people can't do something about this.
I know. It's very interesting. It makes me scared of Rapunzel's hair.
That's so fair.
Tangled. Because I'm sure, I mean, they're not going to have an actual long wig. That'd be a nightmare. They're probably going to have it maybe go down to her feet, and then everything else is going to be maybe a little past that if they want, like, the swoosh to the ground, and then they'll extend it from there. They're going to be so happy when it switches to the braid. Like, I just know that they're just going to be so happy. And then it's going to look great. It looks great in the parks. It'll look great on the movie. Yeah, this is not the first time that they've complained about hair. I think of Snow White. Everyone hated her hair, which I will say looked better overall in the movie than in the promo. I think the promo looked pretty bad. Same with her dress. I think it looked better in, the editing of the movie. But yeah, this is certainly not the first conversation of wigs and hair.
And crazy that the next one is very hair reliant. So, let's learn some things.
We shall see. Anyways. Yeah. Costumes were fine.
Yeah.
On par, it looks good. Whatever. I have no complaints.
Surely.
Maui's wig is also not great. I didn't even mention
No.
him. It's definitely not just Moana. But I just mentioned her because it's like, okay, I get me. There are probably a few reasons why you wouldn't want to use, like, her hair. For all, like, the water scenes, like, that could be hard to be consistent with. What if she needs to get a haircut? That could be hard. Obviously with The Rock, he doesn't have any hair, so you gotta give him a wig, and that's just, there's very little you could do about that because everyone knows him as bald, and so when you see him with hair, it's just automatically like, this looks weird and off. Yeah, wasn't great. I liked his tattoos though. I thought the tattoos looked pretty good, especially
On
when it
him,
was-
sure.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, it's so truly, they
fine.
just ripped the animation right out of the
Yeah.
first one. So,
Again,
sure.
they looked great. It was just because it's exactly from the original.
I
You
don't
what I mean?
know. I'm going to say this, and I'm someone with a decent handful of kind of hot takes when it comes to some Disney stuff, and certainly when it comes to live action Disney stuff.
Mhm.
I think I respect it a lot more when they go for a bolder swing than when they try to avoid risk.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I liked the Snow White remake more than most people, because that original is also not sacred. I feel like it's similar vein as Cinderella. Whereas like, yeah, it's just like people know this movie, but like that definitely could be improved upon. And sure, maybe they didn't, do it super well, but they tried, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Instead of just, copy pasting something that everyone knows and loves. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so for here so truly, them not ruining the stuff they did in animation, especially when so much of it feels like it's like copy and paste from the animation.
Oh yeah.
And let's even say that. I feel like probably 25 to 30% of this movie is not VFX. So, like, the action is, like, anytime Moana is, like, moving at all like she does in the animated movie, I'm like, I know that cannot be her. Because she's not moving. She is one of the most stiff actresses I maybe have seen this year.
It's hard. I definitely think, I don't want to hate too much, but I will say they definitely hired her for her voice because her voice is gorgeous. She sings very well. She sounds very similar to the original, I would say. You definitely can tell a difference because of something at the end. We'll get to that. But she sounds great, and that is not the problem. And there's something... Oh, we watched I Am Frank Elda recently, and we had a similar thought about one of the voice actors where we're like, yeah, you got hired because you could sing. They should have pulled a K-pop Demon Hunters and hired somebody else for this.
And you know what? It's giving I have been in theater in high school, and it's those musicals where the lead is given to someone from choir and not theater. And you can tell.
Yeah, I believe this is probably one of her first roles ever, I'm guessing, especially of this size. So she can learn, but again, it's like if you're gonna make something as big and as loved as Moana, you've gotta protect your actresses, which they hardly ever do.
Yeah.
And you've gotta hire somebody who can do what they need to do and blow people away, not just singing wise.
And you know what else? I want to wrap this section up pretty soon because, the internet's already going to be harsh to this poor girl.
Yeah.
But like, even in comparison, like she's a good singer, but she's also just still, I think, a good couple steps away from the original Moana's singing. So it's weird. Just like I was saying with the movie overall, there's not like a leg for any decision here creatively to stand on. Is like, this is what we're making better. Which, and I think most other live action have something they're at least attempting to do better. And here it just really is the laziest, where it's just like, yeah, the original was good enough. We're just gonna half-ass that.
Most of the other remakes, they, especially like the musicals, they try to give someone else a song. Snow White had a couple that I think were really good that were added. The Little Mermaid had a couple fun ones. Beauty and the Beast had some really good ones. Evermore was amazing.
I love that one.
Even like Uncharted Waters, I know you have opinions on that, but a lot of people really like that one.
I like Uncharted. Wait, that's the Prince Eric song, right?
Yeah.
I like that song.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of someone else then, maybe. I don't know who though. But yeah, a lot of people really like that song. So they don't do that here. We'll just say every song is like pretty much the exact same. Probably 90 to 95% of this movie is the exact same. I would be really interested to have like two TVs play them at the same time and see like the actual differences.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of parts of this movie where I can feel stuff getting removed. And like, the fact that this is a longer movie than the original, it's that.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I thought that too when I saw it was 2 hours.
I'm gonna say it's not crazy that it is a longer movie because it felt like a longer movie to me. But I just do not know what on earth they added because it felt like they took more away.
agree. I kept thinking about that too. I guess maybe bits and pieces of her family, I think, were more present. Her and her grandma, I think, had maybe a couple longer scenes. Like, they still met, I would say, probably the same amount of times as in the original, but I think they were just extended. But yeah, I really don't know what else. So there's just, how long is the original? I would actually be very interested in that. It's 143 minutes. So they added about, I believe, 12 minutes. 13 minutes. I don't really know where. I don't remember that much. Maui teaching her how to sail, I think, was new. Him talking about his family, I believe, was new.
Nope, those are all in the original.
It was?
Yeah.
Interesting. Then, I don't know. Those were the only scenes I couldn't remember him doing, so I don't know.
It's very weird. Very weird. Another talking point. With the circling maybe a little bit back to the wigs, but I like the bold strokes, especially in that, like, dude, if you're having Dwayne The Rock come redo his character, I don't know, lean into it being Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I would have gone for a bald Maui if you were going to have him. Like, either you have The Rock or you don't. This weird seaweed on top of his head is just distracting. And I think there's a lot of that mindset that I would apply to this movie throughout. Like, I don't know. Just that mindset, I think, would have made this a lot more of a interesting movie to talk about.
I want to talk about next her grandma, which we both were like,
no, I fear I knew you misread that signal.
Oh.
And not that she was perfect. I was not talking about her.
oh, I thought a lot of her line deliveries were very stiff, and I get she was trying to mimic like how she sounded in the original. I don't think she did a very good job. I think her facial expressions were fun, and like she seemed quirky, but it seemed like, I don't know, in a bad way, like she studied the character and was just like, I just kind of almost wish she made it her own a little bit. Still had some charm, but maybe in her own way. I feel like it was like, study. Okay, she does this. She moves her arm like this. She makes a little smile. And it felt kind of like that.
Sure. I can see that. You see, to that point in the movie, I was like, oh, hey, this is giving someone who, like, wants to be a character right now. I'll take that. I'll take more. I'll take all of that you want to give me. Because, like, I can tell that you, like, have attempted to be an actor here today. I'll give you your flowers.
Dang. Yeah, it just wasn't that great.
No, and it's still, and the grandma's like the most impactful part of this movie.
Yes.
But I think
And
of the
original,
cast,
too.
I think she's doing the most to try and compete with the original
She's
of
trying.
the cast.
Try.
And I'll say
give
try.
her that. I'll give her that. No, it was so funny when I made the joke. I was like, oh my god, imagine she's gonna talk to her as a stingray, and then we see Moana looking off in the distance. We hear her grandma, and I'm like, oh no. I thought we were about to turn around and see her as a stingray, and we did not, luckily.
No, I'd seen her as the ghost in something in some trailer before.
Oh.
And
I had not, so I did not know.
that, I don't know what it is. I don't know how you do it. Maybe just don't make her glow blue. It's weird.
Oh, it reminds me, isn't that a similar thought we had in the Avatar show as well when they turned blue, that it looked weird? I feel like I remember us saying that. Maybe that's hard.
I think it's
Maybe
the
it's hard to
combination
do.
of like glowing blue but not being like having like the transparency you typically see with the ghost.
Yeah.
I think glowing blue and solid,
Yes.
you just look
weird.
like a radioactive Smurf. So sorry.
No, I also thought it was weird when they were like holding hands. I was like, I don't like the way this looks. Don't know what's happening.
And I think other like sometimes when people have like someone come back as like a spirit or something, they're just there and like you just know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially here in this movie, considering everyone's seen the original, I think that would have gotten the point across. And certainly that glow blue being the only source of lighting in this scene, is not doing the failed cinematography any favors.
Yeah, I just feel like overall, my thoughts on this movie are very similar to a lot of live action remakes. Is that just, I can't imagine myself ever coming back and watching this movie. If I want to watch Moana, I'll just watch the original. There are very, very, very few movies where I would have to decide, which one do I want to watch. And I feel like, maybe just off the top of your head, name a few. I would say
But I would watch the remake over the original?
Yeah, or maybe not over, but just like you'd have to actually think, okay, which one do I prefer today,
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll save this because we'll be ranking basically
so
this
true.
later.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
I think that's kind of an inherent part of that.
Yeah, needless to say, Moana will not be on my list.
You know what I will say? I'll shout out prematurely that Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty, I think it's a great adaptation, but also they're very different movies. And you know what? I like it. Bold strokes. But that was really before Disney started locking in the pipeline.
Yeah. That and like Cruella as well is very, very different. It's almost a shame that I watched Cruella before I watched the live action 101 and 102 Dalmatians because it's just Cruella's just so much better and more original. And I'm sorry, I don't know if that's a hot take, so I'm sorry if it is and I'm offending anybody. I'm not trying to. I didn't grow up with those movies. I think I maybe saw the first one once, maybe. But that, even then, it's like I remember hearing the Selena Gomez song or version of Cruella de Vil, and then that wasn't even, at least from when I rewatched it, wasn't even in the movie or the credits. I looked, I listened for it, so I'm like, where did it go?
Selena just dropped that.
I loved that song when it came out. I would still probably bop to that song, but anyways. We'll get there.
Next subject.
We already kind of mentioned the colors were fine. Like for a live action film in those standards, I think this was well done overall. But obviously, like we've said, nothing compared to the original because it's just kind of impossible. It's like what people said about like Ariel's hair in The Little Mermaid. They were like, well, if it's like cartoonish red, it's gonna look really weird. So I feel like they did it in a pretty way.
Yeah. Even
It's
if you got
fine.
like an actual redhead, their hair is not that color. And
No.
it would be giving like 2020's level of dyed hair if they attempted to do that, regardless of who was playing Ariel. So
Yeah.
whatever.
But what can you do?
I might shout out real quick the designs of our creatures.
Okay.
So boring.
Yeah, Apua I think was adorable in the original and looks like a pig. It's just, I mean, again,
Like
you
a
can
pig
make
with
it
human
cute.
eyes.
Yeah, you can make it cute in an animated form because it doesn't have to be a realistic looking pig. It's already animated, so you can make it cute. Same with like the Kakamoras, I believe that's what they're called.
Yeah.
They're so cute, and then they showed one, and I was like, are they?
They're like
Because they were
they're
in
very
the original.
monkey-like in this for some reason.
Well, like, wouldn't you agree they were cute in the original?
Yes,
I would
like the
say
whole
so.
point was like you see them and then they
Yeah.
twist everything over and they're terrifying.
Yeah.
And they don't even try to do anything on that level.
Mm-mm.
And then not to mention the main, like the king is supposed, like they just minimized all of the character designs for the Kakamora, and it was just like, for what? You're already working on so many of these. If anything, just make less of them and make the ones you do have look a little better.
Yeah.
Crazy. Same with, I think, Tamatoa. He feels smaller here for some reason.
He does. He
And-
feels less threatening.
Yes.
He's very shiny, which is, fun, sure. But yeah, he
Very-
feels like it's almost, it's giving like, Maui, why was it this hard? In the original, like, I get it.
Yeah.
This one is like, I don't think it. Oh, that leads me into the next thing. Speaking of weird size differences, I feel like his hook was too big in this version. I feel like in the original, he was so big, and so his hook felt like
Mm-hmm.
the right size for him. In this one, it looked it should have been really heavy, and it wasn't. And I get like he's a demigod, it probably wasn't heavy, but it just looked very big, and I feel like it made him look smaller. He's
Yeah.
already not as big because, I mean, you just can't, like, that's just not realistic human sized portions or whatever proportions. And then you make a bigger hook, and he looks even smaller. Like, how do you make The Rock look small? He's very buff. Like, that's the whole point of like why he was casted.
No, that just circles back into like work around what you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have The Rock. Account for the fact that he's not that animated character that was made in 2016.
Yeah.
No, I think because the hook is about as big as like Moana herself
Mm-hmm.
in the animated, and I think that's about what they were trying to stick with. But yeah, there's a lot more to be done. I think the whole design of Maui should have been kind of brought to the drawing board.
I agree with that.
And then I also want to say, what is it? Hatal, the lava monster.
Taka.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
those are 2 syllables. Even that design, I remember being like, that looks okay in the trailers. I feel worse about it in the actual movie.
It looked very skinny.
Well, for me, the design originally of like this like hardened stone with like lava oozing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then here it feels a lot more just like lava flowing than like any kind of like hard rock until she gets wet.
Mm.
And I'm like, I think that's a weaker choice, especially because she's like flowing the entire time, like action sequence. And then when she needs to look for where to put the heart, it's like suddenly solid there. And I'm like, that was not solid. I literally looked, and that was like a waterfall of lava dripping down her chest. So, what do we do? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, even in their copying and pasting, like, they're just making things feel needlessly minimized. It's like minimalism for character design. And who needed that?
I'm sure it was to save money, but then once again, it's just then don't make it if you're not ready to do it justice. I don't know. Just Moana 2 had, very mixed reception and still made a ton of money. Just like pour that time and energy and money into making a third one.
Which are still doing.
Yeah, but it's just like you didn't have to do a live action, especially if it wasn't going to be as good.
Yeah.
Anyways, or at least try to like make it as good, or try to make it different or something. Try to do something fun. And I feel like they were just like, here, now give us money.
It's one of the most phoned in projects worth over 100 million I've seen, and it is that and a half.
Mm-hmm. Like at least the
Don't-
Lilo and Stitch budget was pretty low. It was like
Yeah?
100 million. Yeah, because they made like 10 times that. So I don't know.
Crazy.
Again, I'm nervous about Frozen because that has a lot of VFX for Elsa's powers. That castle scene, I'm terrified.
But I don't know. I'm trying to think through, because
Ooh,
VFX.
But the rock creatures too, I feel like will be butchered.
You know what? If ABC's Once Upon a Time could do a rock creature,
Surely, right? But I don't know. Their costumes were so good in that show, and then Snow White's dress was not that good, and it's just like, I mean, I said earlier it looked better than the trailer, and it does, but it's still
sure.
definitely good. And then people still complain about the Belle's dress in Beauty and the Beast. I agree. I think it could have been way more gold, way more layers. I mean, it was pretty, but it's like then you look at the original and you're like, wow, okay. So I don't know. And again, the rock creatures, I feel like there's no reason to butcher because they're not animals, so you don't have to make them realistic looking. Just make them like cartoonish looking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Bananas. Do we have another talking point?
No, Olaf. Sorry.
That's gonna be.
That's terrifying.
The craziest, like, Frozen took over Once Upon a Time for half a season. They didn't even want to try with Olaf.
And good. They probably shouldn't have. No, I'm actually most terrified for Olaf's design. Oh god. Anyways.
Ooh, actually, is that the end of our, like, are we about to go into, like, the bigger franchise?
Yeah.
One other thing I want to shout out is I want to take a quick look at this director here, actually. Have you looked at his filmography?
No.
Thomas Kail, what did you do before this to earn this gig? This $250 million gig? Well, this is his 8th movie that he's directed. And one of them, not a movie actually, it's that show that I think was on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as films, he apparently is the director of the screen, like, on-stage recording of Hamilton. And then he also did Grease Live, Fiddler on the Roof, some kind of Fosse thing, and then the other two are, like, things about Hamilton. Like, behind-the-scenes stuff on Hamilton.
I haven't seen whatever... I've seen Fiddler on the Roof, but I've seen it live. So I haven't seen whatever he's done with that. I mean, obviously, I've seen the live-action recording of Hamilton, which was well done.
Yes.
But it's very different than, like, something like this.
You know, it's giving a similar question... Not question, but an idea that I've had with things going from plays to movies. Like, I had a similar thought on Dear Evan Hansen and when I watched Rent. I know a lot of people love Rent, and I think the story is amazing. But when I watched the Rent movie and Dear Evan Hansen for the first time, it was really led by someone who, like, could direct the hell out of this show on a stage. But directing a stage play and directing a movie are very different skill sets.
Yeah.
And I'll even go as far as to say for both Rent and Dear Evan Hansen, which both star decent cast members from the original on-Broadway casts, acting in a movie musical is different than acting on an onstage
Very different.
musical. And
Very
I think the biggest problems I had with both of those movies, to very differing extents, looking at you, Dear Evan Hansen, that was that the director just had the characters doing what they did on stage. And, you know, you don't act like characters in a play do in real life. Because then you come off as super cheesy, just kind of standing there. And when you react, it's big. And that's not how people react. I feel like some of that translates here in terms of kind of the stiffness of characters. And even the choreography. Like, whenever songs were happening, they'd be very still. And the camera would be, like, just kind of moving around them. And nothing else is happening. Or they'd do a
pose, but it'd be like, why are we doing this pose? I feel like that actually is a good point. It feels like something that would work on a stage. Where, you know, big movements, even, like, maybe stiff movements that feel unrealistic when you're up close, but look really good from far away. Yeah. And maybe the wig, too. The wigs.
You know what? It is giving you're not supposed to be that close to them. So I think that's just a very interesting note. And he's not the only director I've seen that have that kind of problem. So something to just keep in mind. Okay, what's our next thing?
Now we get to talk about live action remakes we did like. Our top 10.
Okay.
You should go first.
Surely. So, top 10.
I'm actually interested to see. I know ours are going to be different, so that's exciting.
Yeah, well, I will say, you went through and watched all of the ones you missed, right?
Yes. There is one, like 1996 or 7, something like that, Jungle Book.
Yes.
But I really didn't want to watch it. So I'm like, okay, we already have one and it's really good. I don't want to go back and watch it. What's probably inferior one. And then they have The Sorcerer's Apprentice based off Fantasia. Except when you hover over that in Wikipedia and see the poster, it looks like something that would be a poster for The Matrix.
Oh gosh.
And that is not Fantasia whatsoever. So I had no interest in watching that. Tell me if I'm wrong, if I need to watch that, but
That's crazy.
didn't really want to.
So we're doing our top 10 Disney live action remakes. At number 10, I have the first Alice in Wonderland movie. As we were doing some stuff on this episode, I saw some people hating on this. I've not seen it in a while. And I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it on Disney Plus around the time that first dropped.
Okay.
And this was a vibe. It wasn't trying to be the story of the original Alice in Wonderland.
Not
it was like
too closely. Not copy paste at least.
Because it's like Alice returning to Wonderland at some point. And I think that was an interesting take on it. I think the designs are very live action Tim Burton-y. I'm a little rough around the edges, but overall it was a fun time.
And you know what's fun is Sabrina Carpenter actually has been talking about how much she loves Alice in Wonderland. She would love to like play Alice one day. And she has like been very passionate about those talks and interviews of like wanting to make that someday. So, you know, it's not off the table that they will make one closer to the original. And I actually would love to see her.
But
what that would look like. She seems very passionate about it, and she's done a really great job just like as a creative. I mean, obviously, again, those are very different forms. She has been an actress before, but she, you know, it's different creating like a great music video versus movie potentially. But you know, I would be more open to that than some other ideas and to seeing what that looks like.
Sure.
So, yeah. She's giving very Alice. She's like 2 apples tall. This one I know is not going to be on your list. Alice in Wonderland will be on my list. My number 10 is Aladdin. And I know this is controversial because a lot of people actually really hate the live action Aladdin.
You know what? I think it's closer to half and half than I had thought. Because the more I kind of express the more negative view of the live action Aladdin, I see a lot more come up against that than on my side. So you're not alone. And I don't think by a little margin.
Yeah. I think the casting is pretty great for this movie. I think Will Smith, you know, he didn't even try to recreate the original. He just did his own thing and was always very open about that. And I respect that. I think Jasmine was amazing in this movie. Her outfits were amazing. Her song was amazing. I love that song. I love the reprise, everything. I don't know. I just think it actually it did really well. Not that I hate the original or anything. I just think both are good within their own right. I think it's one of those that I would have to decide, you know, okay, which one am I going to watch today? But I like that. I feel like the original was, obviously it's titled Aladdin, so I felt like it was more Aladdin focused. Again, not really a complaint. That makes sense given the title. But I like that this one gave Jasmine a lot more to do and that like she became a sultan at the end. Like they made some fun changes and some fun additions. So, yeah. I think you know, again, it's kind of what we've been talking about. At least they tried to do some different things and I respect that. And
Surely.
a lot of it worked for me. So, yeah, respect.
Heard. My number 9, I have Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. You know what? I never watched this one, but I loved Maleficent growing up. So going into this, it was very interesting to be like, it was like a whole twist that she was actually like made evil in the first one, and then for this one to kind of advertise like, oh, she's going full villain here. It's kind of like, interesting. I don't know how that's gonna work after the first one. And you know what? They got me. Michelle Pfeiffer can play a really scary villain.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably, these movies are the earliest that I have seen Harris Dickinson, and that's crazy to me looking back. But yeah, this one was surprisingly fun and kind of crazy sad seeing all of the crazy things happen to the wood people. But yeah, fun time.
My number 9 is Alice in Wonderland. So it's not too far behind. It was just, or actually above. I actually really liked this one. I thought this was fun, and I actually really liked the original. I don't know how many people feel the same way. I don't really know. I always thought it was very fun and whimsy. The Cheshire Cat was always iconic, of course. I don't know. I think a lot of the classics are known and talked about, but I think some of them are still underrated. And I feel like this is one of those where I'm like, I think it's underrated. But I really liked the adaptation. I will say it had definitely more of a depressing tone just because of like the different circumstances, how she was all grown up and like being forced into a marriage and
Alice,
different things.
and she has to go to Wonderland and go to war.
Yeah. But I don't know. It worked for me. It felt very Tim Burton-esque, and I loved.
He was a fun director for Wonderland.
Yes, I loved the casting in this movie. Like Helena Bonham Carter as the Queen of Hearts is so inspired. I love that. Oh my god. Yeah, I felt like it kept the right amount of whimsy, but the darkness didn't overpower it. It just worked in its own right.
Yeah. You know what? It feels kind of similar to the fantasy tones that Once Upon a Time has for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little more dramatic here in these movies, but it's fun. It's a fun vibe to be in for me. Yeah, no, I already said that. At number 8, I have Mufasa. You know, I really thought that whenever they wanted to use this technology to make an original story, I thought they kind of had something. I thought it was very fun. The animation is stunning in both of those movies, even though Lion King will not be on this list for me. Yeah, fun time.
Ooh, I forgot to say Mistress of Evil is number 14 out of 24. And Mufasa is number 11 out of 24. So just barely didn't make my list.
And you said you have 24?
Yeah.
I have 22. And Aladdin was 12 for me.
Sure. Okay. My number 8 is The Little Mermaid. I actually really liked this one. I think Halle Bailey is gorgeous and has an amazing voice, just like made for a... Oh my god, that was your marker. I heard squeaking and I was like, where the hell is that coming from? Even my cat looked and was like, it sounded like a mouse. I'm like, oh my god.
That was intense. I'm sorry.
Anyways, I think she has a voice just like meant to be a Disney princess. So I love that for her. And I thought she looked gorgeous. Her design, like costume / tail design, whatever you want to call that, looked great. Obviously, you know, people talked about how Scuttle and Flounder looked. I thought Sebastian still looked good. I thought Prince Eric was just as cute and charming in this movie. Great casting. His song was very fun. I like that they more so kind of saved each other, or Ariel more so saved Eric in this one. I thought that was cute. She got her own little song when coming to the human world. And I loved where they put Jodie Benson as well. I thought that was a fun little cameo. Literally passing the fork, the dingle hopper. Yeah, I really liked it. The casting for Vanessa was really good. Everyone was talking about her when it came out. Like, wow. She had to eat that one, and she did. So props to her. She had a lot to live up to, and she did it really well.
Okay.
So.
And I'll circle back to that one. At number 7, I have Cruella. So fun. I've actually not seen well, at some point I've seen pieces of the original live action 101 Dalmatians 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. But I fear that's almost irrelevant because this is its own thing.
So
Emma Stone, the actress that you are, and this director. We just talked about him because he directed a movie we didn't like.
I don't know.
Supergirl. Craig Gillespie directed this. Yeah, he had the sauce on this one. It's big, it's bold. Her and Emma Thompson are an amazing back and forth. Mm-hmm. It's just such a fun time.
Yeah, I agree. I'll be circling back to that. My number 7 is Peach Dragon. You told me for the longest time to watch the live action because obviously, like, I was not a fan of the original animated one, and you were like, "Trust, watch the live action." I finally did in anticipation for this, and it was so good. It has Bryce Dallas Cameron in it. Is that
Howard.
her name? Bryce Dallas Howard. No, she is great in this movie. I think the kid does a great job. Really well done. This is a way to adapt something and make it better. For sure.
Indeed. And needless to say, I will be circling back
And
to
you
that
know
one.
what? The green dragon didn't even look weird in live action, and that could, there's so
He
many
looked
ways.
great.
He looked great. So, yeah.
My number 6, I have Beauty and the Beast. Dude, I was late to this one too. Not by that much. I think I saw it like a... This was another one I hit on streaming.
Surprised you didn't see that in theaters.
But dude, this one was awesome. I think what a great example of bringing so many of these iconic numbers to life and like really elevating what you have here. Dude. I think they added some interesting elements. While do I think they add that much more? No, not you, Evermore. You're kind of everything. And also Days in the Sun.
Days in the Sun, like, there's so many reprises of it, and every single one is good.
Dude, ugh. It's
Yeah.
just kind of amazing. There are a couple of, like, craft things that maybe don't meet up to par, but this one's so fun. I do love this one.
Yeah, I
Ugh.
agree. We'll circle back to that one. My number 6 is Christopher Robin. This is one that is probably controversial because this one is definitely way more sad than a lot of the Winnie the Pooh movies. However, I think this is one of those that worked really well for me. Especially, I watched this during COVID when, like, everyone and their mother was depressed. So it was kind of perfect. Growing up as a kid, having all this whimsy, watching Winnie the Pooh, and then being an adult and, like, immediately be hit with, like, depressing reality. And then watching this is like, damn, they really got that right. So I need a Winnie the Pooh in my life to, like, bring some whimsy back. I actually really like this movie, and I'll stand 10 toes down on that. So there you go.
You know, this is one I definitely need to rewatch. I don't even want to say where it currently is on my list, but it's probably incorrectly low. I need to rewatch it in the right mindset.
Watch it when you're sad
Right.
about being an adult.
My number 5, I have The Little Mermaid. I think, and this is maybe where one of my Disney hot takes come from, The Little Mermaid is like was the most needed for kind of a rework. It has iconic songs.
You're so
the
wrong
animation
for that.
is
That's
great.
crazy.
Ariel is a passenger to her own story where she's the main character. Everything happens to or for her, and this movie actually made her have a hand on the wheel of her own story. And, like, watching back to The Little Mermaid as an adult for the first time, I was like, this girl is doing nothing in this story. She's just there. And it's so bizarre to me. It's remembered for a great reason, for so many great reasons, but it truly, I think, it's not a female empowerment story at all. I remember that was like a joke to me growing up, but it was like, no, like, everything happens to Ariel. She does things for the wrong reasons. If it is the right reasons, it's not explored enough to, I think, get that across. And I think the cast, the music here is incredible. I think most of the stuff comes to life pretty okay for me. Yeah, a blast for me. I love this one.
I love the original, so it's okay. Oops, I almost wrote my next one. Anyways, my next one is Beauty and the Beast. Told you we'd circle back to it. Not everyone understood and supported Emma Watson as Belle, but I did. So, thank you very much. Was she, like, the best singer in the world? No. I think she sounded fine. I think she did enough. She was fine. The powerhouse song of the movie was Evermore, and that was Slade. So that's really all that matters to me.
Because you know what the alternative, like, I'll take actor who can sing over singer. No.
Opposite. Yes.
In this case, I'll take actor who thinks they can sing over singer who thinks they can act. And I'll make that trade anytime.
Yeah. I think she dreamed about playing Belle all her life, and I love that that was made a reality for her. And I think she did really well with that. I think she did really well. You know, she's always been, unlike potentially what you said, Ariel, I think she's always been a pretty feminist icon. And she still wasn't, even more so in this version. She's like the perfect mixture of like very strong and independent, but still so kind and like Disney princess like, I guess. I thought most of her costumes were really well done. I thought the crafting overall was really well done. Obviously, you know, I mentioned earlier the yellow dress could have been better, bigger and better. It was fine. And then props to them for making the beast when he turns into a human actually look kind of cute, unlike the original. Everyone's like, jump scare.
Turn him back.
I'm like, you know, they kept that like beast manly look in him, but he was still cute.
Dude,
and
when he
I
does
loved
the
that.
growl.
Yes, when it's like, you need to grow a beard. I'm like, okay, y'all ate that. Gaston and LeFou, great casting choices. Wonderful casting choices. That is one where even when they were like talking about a potential Gaston thing, it's like, I get it. Like, I would take this Gaston.
I think the casting across the board's incredible.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. I totally agree. The casting for the objects of the house were also pretty well done from what I remember. So Ewan McGregor was one. Emma Thompson.
Gandalf. Ian McKellen.
Cool. Oh yeah.
He was
You're
Cogsworth.
right. Yeah, I thought Be Our Guest was well done. Everything. It's really well done.
Very fun. My number 4, I have Maleficent. Like I said, grew up watching this stuff. Iconic. Angelina Jolie. Ugh. Timeless. So truly a timeless treasure. Yeah. Oh, and that was the first time I think I had ever seen Elle Fanning before. And her, dude,
Gorgeous.
she's so fun in
She
this
did not
movie.
come to play.
Oh, just so fun. I think it brings the story to life in such a different way than the original one anticipated. Love the retelling. Love the little twist on a common tale. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. My number 4 is Cruella. Oh, so Maleficent will be coming up for me. Yeah, my number 4 is Cruella. I think this was so well done. I've seen a good chunk of these in theaters. I saw Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Cruella. I actually did not see Alice in Wonderland in theaters. Anyways, Cruella was great. I agree. I think, you know, they won costuming that year, and so deserved. There's so many costumes, just like gag after gag, even like on both sides, too. Cruella's side and like evil whatever side.
Ella and Cruella.
Okay. Dang, I didn't know they had both names.
Oh.
The boss.
The boss. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
Ella has like a split personality that she
Yeah.
becomes Cruella, and I'm like, dude, give more Disney villains multiple identities.
And you know, and they have that in the live action 101 Dalmatians as well. They play on that way more in 102 Dalmatians. It's much better in this one all around. So very original, very fun. It's kind of like Maleficent, but even more so. I think not like the movie it's based off, but very well done. And I think they should keep doing that.
I think both
when
of
they
them
have a good idea.
Both of them, I think, do really cool things about exploring the antagonist in ways that I guess people just kind of assume is kind of there. Like, you know that Maleficent lives in the forest with all of these weird creatures, and you know that Cruella is a fashion designer, but you don't actually get to see all of that in the original movies, so it's really fun to explore that.
It is. And it's I think it's a fun way to make your own story and somehow like humanize them, because obviously you're not humanizing the version from the original, but you're just kind of humanizing the version they are here. I think that's a good choice, because I mean, like Cruella in the original, let's not humanize her here, but here it's totally different. So yeah.
Number 3, I have Pete's Dragon. Oh my gosh, I literally rewatched the original so I could watch this one. Oh my gosh, I almost could not get through the original Pete's Dragon.
It's not good.
That was crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the practical effects are cool, where like it's like the 60s or something and they have an invisible dragon like making an impression through a wall in live action. I'm like, that's fun, but I don't care about any of these characters.
Animation. You said live action.
It is the dragon's animated. It's weird. It's very weird. But then this one, oh my gosh, the cast is great. The dragon looks crazy. Elliot. Oh, and like the fur on him, they went for like a very different kind of dragon design, which is just like so like striking to me. Ugh. And it's a fun little like thriller, weirdly. Ugh, I am just so charmed by that movie.
My number 3 is Maleficent. So good. I loved this one when it came out. I believe I did see this in theaters, but I've also definitely seen it since. I remember I did like a live action binge one time in a road trip, and so I watched this and Mistress of Evil, and then I watched Alice in Wonderland and then Alice Through the Looking Glass. And that was a very fun binge, actually. I think both sequels are definitely not on par with their originals, but they're still a fun watch.
They still keep a lot of the
things
fun
to look forward to, for sure.
My number 2, I have The Jungle Book. And listen, I have as many great memories about originally watching the animated Jungle Book as everyone else. But like, when's the last time you watched it, people? You're being gaslit. This is like a Mandela effect. It's not a movie. It has great scenes, and that's it. That's all you remember is the songs. Crazy. But this one is such a really well fleshed out story. Like, it's gaslighting you into thinking that's what the original is. The voice cast, I think, is super strong. I think that kid is really incredible. The visuals are so cool. The way these animals come to life, they're very expressive. I think it's really crazy that they went from this movie to The Lion King. I don't know how they regressed so far. But, such a vibe.
Yeah. My number 2 is also The Jungle Book. I have similar thoughts. I still like the original. But yeah, this is definitely elevated in the right ways for the most part. And it's a shame that they didn't utilize that main actor more, and they could have, and they almost did, and now it's too late. He's probably too old. So probably means both of our number 1s are Cinderella.
Oh my gosh, it is Moana. Cinderella. Can you imagine?
He had the audacity to say to me before this movie, what happens if we come out of this movie and you hate it and I love it? And I just thought to myself in my brain, now. Let's not just.
No, Cinderella is so good. I actually just watched Cinderella's actress in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Such a fun little performer. Oh my gosh. And Hella, played by Kate Blanchett. Another treasure. She's so
Great
good
casting.
in this movie.
Richard Madden as the prince was very good casting. I think the chemistry's off the charts. The costume, like the dress, is amazing. Still some people out there. Actually, it was silver in the original. Shut up. Like, you're so annoying. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm aware that it was silver in the original. I'm sorry. This is not.
And isn't Hella Bonham Carter the fairy godmother?
Yes. So, props to her and Emma Thompson for carrying some of these remakes on their backs, for sure.
Maybe a little all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
that
Idris
sounds
Elba is
great.
in The Jungle Book and in Mistress of Evil.
Well, it's a
Fun
pretty good.
little
Yeah,
crossovers.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's our ranking. Would love to hear y'all's in the comments below. But I don't know. It feels like they started with some pretty interesting takes or remodels on the classic stories, and then they went a little too far on redoing the stories, and now they're correcting too far into just to remake the original. And
Yeah.
I fear you need to have some kind of an in between, or else what are we doing?
Okay. With that being said, I wanted to do a little quick rapid fire thoughts. So I'm going to tell you the upcoming movies that are in development, that are confirmed, talked about in development in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And I want you to just off the top of your head, don't think about it. Just give me a number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
Basically, and how excited you are for it.
Okay.
First off, we actually don't have anything confirmed to come out next year. In 2028, we have Lilo and Stitch 2.
2.
Next, we have Tangled.
Given the cast announcement, that's probably at about a 6.
Hercules is still technically in the works.
Okay, if you just told me a Hercules movie was in development, I'd be probably around a 7 because I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But with everything we've heard about it, I'm gonna say a 4.
Yeah. An untitled Gaston-centered film is still, I guess, in the works.
If it's Luke Evans, that's a 7.
Yeah. Cruella sequel.
8.
And then a third Maleficent film.
I'm gonna say 5 for the time being. I think you need to have a good reason to circle back.
Yeah. I agree with all of that. So, we shall see. Those are actually the only ones that are, at least on Wikipedia, I don't know, in some sort of development that have not
Maleficent's
been...
kind of crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe that, but there is a separate list for scrapped or stalled projects, and that's what we're doing next.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they're not in that list. So I guess in some way, shape, or form, they're still happening, or at least they're not off the table yet.
Heard.
So I have a list of the scrapped projects, and I would like you to guess some of them.
Okay. Are any in the same vein as Cruella or Maleficent where they're just Disney villain spin-offs? Or is it all proper adaptations?
There's no villain adapted
Okay.
adjacent films.
I'm gonna say
Which is disappointing. Well, I guess not, because then they'd be scrapped.
yeah.
But they should have more of those for upcoming, not just
more to look
Gaston.
at.
You have more you could do.
Trying to think through some of them. Is Emperor's New Groove on that list?
It is not.
Interesting. Is
I'm wondering, because I have heard rumors that they're gonna do an Emperor's New Groove ride in the New Villains Land with the iconic pull the lever Kronk. If that is true, and I would not be surprised if they start talking about a remake, because people love that film, and people have been begging for that ride for years. They wanted actually originally for the Splash Mountain redo to be Emperor's New Groove. But
interesting.
maybe they were saving it for Villains Land. I don't know. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, no, because Frozen wasn't canceled. We just don't know.
Frozen. I'm sure that's coming sometime in the future. I would be shocked if it doesn't. But we technically don't know. We haven't heard anything.
There's no Encanto's on that list yet.
No.
Don't think
Way
they
too
care
early
as
for
much.
that. Same with Coco. Way too early.
Oh, is there Tarzan?
There's not.
We know it won't be Pocahontas. I'm sure there's no Treasure Planet.
Pocahontas was on this list, but just to say, not that it was ever in development, but just that it was confirmed by, I believe Alan Menken came out and said, no, they're never going to do it because there's not a way that they could ever see themselves doing it that won't be like a completely different thing or offensive. Like it'd have to be one or the other. And similar to the Hunchback of Notre Dame as well. They're not doing that for similar reasons.
God, it feels like we actually have done most of these. Is Fantasia on that list?
No. So
wait, Bambi isn't it?
Yes, Bambi is on that list. I think that's a great choice that they are not doing that.
Yes.
Similar in that vein, Robin Hood is also on there.
Oh, I completely looked over that because what do you mean? The whole point is that it's animated. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many different versions of Robin Hood that are live action.
Yeah.
But, like, don't make him a fox.
No. And then similar, we have the Aristocats as well. I think that's probably also a good choice. I would not be as, like, bothered by that because they did do a Lady and the Tramp, which I actually
I think that's pretty okay.
Yeah. I think so too.
I'd put my expectations for Aristocats in that same vein. I think that there's something entertaining to be done there.
But I will say that is not likely, not only because it's on this list, but because it was actually talked about in 2022 and then was scrapped. So it's a more recent. Like, it's not like they talked about it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they have talked about it recently.
Is Chicken Little on this list?
No.
Cowards.
And then the last two that are kind of like their own things. Sword in the Stone was talked about and is not. It was scrapped, which is actually a little surprising. I mean, obviously there are animals. With what's her face?
Mim.
Yeah, Madame Mim. And Merlin even.
Yeah.
But I actually don't know. I feel like they could potentially make a more elevated film.
I think there's definitely something that could be done there.
Yeah.
But there's Merlin movies. I don't know. But I like the Disney's adaptation of it. I don't know. I don't think that's a non-starter.
They could make like a Merlin like film.
Or Mim
Something.
film.
Or
Mim versus Merlin.
Wait, no.
Oh my god, hold on.
Find the right like idea.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna be talking about this later, but
I actually feel like Meryl Streep might be a really fun Madame Mim. With her in Into the Woods, she did great. Like I could hear that like cackle.
Okay.
Craziness.
Yes. Is this a dumb casting, but Stanley Tucci as Merlin and Meryl Streep as Mim?
Wait.
Did I eat, or is that super basic?
I don't know, but I don't even care if it's basic. I think that would be very fun to see what they would do with that. I don't think they would ever do that, but I don't know. It's scrapped, but let us have our fun. Everything else is pretty much some sort of spinoff or sequel. There was a Cinderella spinoff about Prince Charming titled Charming. That has been scrapped.
If it's not Cinderella 3, I don't want it.
Yeah.
If I don't have time travel shenanigans and
What?
Prince Charming jumping out a window.
Wait to hear about this one.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
sorry. No, but I agree with that. Do number 3 or don't do it at all. There was a Snow White sequel titled Rose Red about Snow White's sister, Rose Red. And I'm just like, what on earth?
When was the last time they talked about that movie happening? Is that listed? I kind of really need to know how long they thought that might be a good idea.
2016, March of 2016.
Oh, so then that was forever ago.
Yes, they announced it.
Okay.
And that's all they said.
Okay.
I guess it just hasn't been talked about since.
I was thinking, like, if they were thinking of, like, that as a spinoff to, like, Rachel Zegler's Snow White, horrible idea. As its own thing, I think I'm a little more lenient to, like, okay, do your own thing. If you think that there's a story to be told there, show me a trailer, I guess.
It's just, unfortunately, because they have a movie called Descendants: Rise of Red, it just immediately makes you think of that.
Fair.
Anyways. Then they talked about a Jungle Book sequel. They were gonna film it kind of back to back to the Lion King, like whatever live action, whatever you want to call it. It's technically not, but what else? You can't say animated because that's confusing. But then they just didn't do it, and even the actor was scheduled to come back, and he just didn't.
He didn't.
So I'm sorry, dude. And then these last three are all about Aladdin. There was gonna be a Aladdin prequel titled Genies, an Aladdin spin-off about the Prince Anders, which I do remember hearing about, and everyone was like, what? Because, like, who cares about this guy?
And now he's Pleakley.
Yeah. So, you know, at least he got a paycheck after that, okay? If it wasn't as the Prince Anders. And then they were going to just do a straight-up Aladdin sequel. The actors talked about they were excited to come back, and then
They never
they just
did.
never did, and they were like, I guess it's not happening. Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Yeah. But I think most of these are good choices that they were scrapped.
You know what? I think Atlantis and Treasure Kingdom need a resurgence.
Treasure Planet?
Yes, I don't know what I just said, but Treasure Planet.
Got the title wrong! I love
did I
Treasure
say?
Planet. Treasure Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, Treasure
It's okay.
My bad.
I would also love, or maybe like Meet the Robinsons. I would be interested in what that looks like. I think that could be fun, like future-esque. It's not like, you know, just find some quirky kids.
Yeah.
I think you could do
I
it.
think the production and costumes and makeup would be really... If you can get someone to go, like, whole ham into that, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Trying to think who you cast as bowler hat guy. That's the hardest person to cast, I think.
There would be someone, though, for sure.
Like, it feels like that would have been a role for Robin Williams at some point. Or someone adjacently funny.
Aw, yeah.
Someone who does physical comedy really well.
But I feel like you also have to have the physique with it, too. Like, the very tall and skinny. Like, I don't know. That just feels like him, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna sit on that one.
Mhm.
Y'all let us know if you have thoughts. But
And then, of course, we have to bring up the Ratatouille stuff because
Do
people
we?
have been bothering Josh O'Connor about that for years, and he found it funny at first, and now recently in an interview, somebody brought it up. He's like, "I'm tired of people asking me that. Stop asking me."
Dude, poor guy.
I think, it's just leave it alone.
And besides, Andrew Fellman is right there, and he'd probably be a lot more willing to do it.
No, like, I feel like that one would actually be interesting to turn into a musical. See what that would look
Yeah,
like.
off of TikTok anyways.
Make it its own thing. No, not but like professionally. Anyways, but the rats I wouldn't look forward to the rats.
Rats. Where are the rats?
Anyways, I think that's where we end. I guess we didn't talk about the reception, but
No, we can go through that real quick. We got it. We'll rush it. You know what? You don't even get to guess. We'll just go through it quickly.
okay.
So, critic score on Rotten Tomatoes was 34% for Moana.
Ooh, that went down. It was at like 50 something.
Yeah. And that's of
That's rough.
152 reviews.
Wow.
Audience score is at a 90%.
And see, that's why they're gonna keep on making them. It's y'all's fault.
Indeed it is. Cinema score was an A-.
It's just such a joke.
Indeed. And let me see if this has updated. I remember seeing before we went into the movie that its projected opening domestically is like really low for some of the bigger live action adaptations they've done. Currently domestically it's made 43 million, and worldwide it has made 95 million already. So internationally it's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
So still definitely not great with its budget. It is not gonna make its budget back.
It is not.
No.
So, all
'Cause
that
it's
in
like-
mind,
You could just watch a superior version right now on Disney Plus. It's not that old. The kids that would want to go see it probably already saw Moana. And it's really good. It's not like, you know, an older movie that some people are like, yeah, it's a classic, but you know, like it's really good and well loved.
that being
I don't
said,
know.
where do you think that this box office is going to end? I can start. I'm going to lock
Okay.
in 215 mil.
15.
Yes. I think it'll get a little over 200K.
I'll do just above that. I feel like I say this every time, whether or not you're higher or lower than me, I'm gonna say like 230. I hope you're right. I said that last time, but you were higher than me. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't really know. If you want to watch a sea adventure movie, watch The Odyssey next week.
No, this coming out back to back weekends is
actually
really funny.
It is.
And then lastly, for those who are keeping up, we have a summer movie draft where we picked 8 different movies each, and we're betting on how successful they are in reception and box office. Moana made my list, and currently it is giving me 52 points, which I think
Not too shabby
not
with
too
that
bad.
critic score. It's because the audience is fucking delusional, but whatever. I guess it's good for you. You're like, thanks.
good enough. I guess.
I want what you're having. Like, that's crazy.
So that is the last of my 8 movies to release.
Wow.
So currently, I have a total of 452 points out of 8 movies. I've not recalculated any other movies. I'm sure Minions is probably giving
Yeah.
me a little more.
Yeah.
So I'm at 452 of 8 movies. You are at 308 with 5 movies. So you still have 3 more to go. You really...
Like, please pull through like I think you will, but I don't know.
Yeah, you have Spider-Man, The Odyssey, and One Night Only. And I think Spider-Man and The Odyssey are going to do really good.
Yeah, I'm only the tiniest bit worried for the Odyssey that, like, the purists are going to be like, oh my god, this isn't exactly the same as, like, a 3,000-year-old story.
There is a couple of things going against The Odyssey, but...
Oh my god, he says dad instead of father. He wouldn't say father either, people. It would be in Greek.
Clock it.
And I love that everyone's saying that, too. Even Tom Holland recently came out and said that. He was like, I wouldn't say father either. So shut up. Christopher Nolan, people were like, how do you feel about the people that are unsure about your cast? He said, I went through Batman, I'm fine. Where people were like signing petitions against Heath Ledger, and then he won an Oscar for it, so. He's like, I
Crazy.
don't care.
Fair
It's
enough.
like, respectfully, I ain't listening to that. And as he should, because also this cast is great.
Yeah.
Y'all are stupid. Anyways.
No,
Whatever.
I can't imagine. As someone who came into movies way after that, it's really weird to look back on that controversy. That's like maybe one of the weirdest ones for me.
I can't imagine that, but I don't
Because
know.
also I think
didn't...
that's far from like I think there's a lot of miscastments in his Batman movies, and that's not.
But I mean,
one of
Heath
them.
Ledger is not one of them. But I mean, I didn't grow up with like the type of movies he had been in. Like maybe he didn't do anything like it. I don't know, but you know, he did really well. So it's just like I don't
Wah.
care. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up on Moana today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, I'm your host Luke,
And I'm your host Alicia.
and thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.